What up, what up, what up, everybody? Welcome back to Today's the Day with Zack Andersen. Let's get into it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Today's the Day with Zack Andersen. What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Today's the Day. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Today's the Day. Much love to everybody. Today's the day. Thank you guys for tuning in. This episode is brought to you by ALCHEMY Sales Coaching. And not to mention what I'm going to go and talk a little bit about very quickly, the ALCHEMY Summit that is coming up in October, beginning of October. I wanted to extend an offer that was brought to me by Doug to give to any listeners of the podcast, anybody in the space, which I'll touch on a little bit, but it's to attend the ALCHEMY Sales Summit. It's one of the coolest experiences I have had in a very long time. I attended last year. And you go and it's this incredible off-site glamping experience where there's a pool and ice baths and yoga classes all day long, breathwork classes all day long, and then breakouts with different instructors. A very big portion of the focus of this one's going to be focused on relationship coaching. So it's gonna be a very, very good time. I'm going to be attending. A lot of the people you guys have seen on the podcast will be attending. It's going to be an absolute blast. So for those of you guys that are looking to go and be with a group of very like-minded people for 4 days, be off the grid, digital detox, eating amazing food, having an incredible experience, and learning some really, really cool things to go and implement in your life, make sure you go and check the links that we're going to go and post for the ALCHEMY Sales Summit. Any of the Today's the Day listeners are going to go and get a $700 pricing decrease. So you're going to go and get a discount as if you were an ALCHEMY member. So make sure you guys go and check it out. It's one of the coolest experiences. I absolutely love it. And if you're looking for a group of people to go and push you forward in whatever space you may be in, it's definitely something you're going to want to check out. So I couldn't recommend it more. And as always, much love. Enjoy the episode.
President Obama was actually the most surprising. So this is, okay. I don't know if it's like my all-time favorite story, but it was by far the most surprising opportunity or like incidents cooking for like these types of people. So he was in town for for a meeting. He was up at the McEwen Mansion in Salt Lake City. He was meeting with government officials, and we were cooking him breakfast. All of us had to have background checks, which is so gnarly.
That's so gnarly.
And I was young, dude, like really young, in my 20s. And you got this Secret Service dude hanging out in the kitchen. You better make sure that secret sauce is good.
He's watching everything.
And I think they were watching tighter because, I mean, you know, Utah, like that. Anyway, President Obama, I don't know if he thought he was safe in Utah, but I love him. So the point of the story, we're cooking him breakfast. You got all these Secret Service watching you cook. You have to get background checks. I think there was like 3 servers and like 3 or 4 chefs on this event. We're making him breakfast. We get breakfast out, and one of the servers was fairly new, but she was very talented, and she was going around filling people's cups with coffee, like refilling people's cups, and she got like distracted for a second and overfilled President Obama's cup of coffee. And that's
been her nightmare for a week leading up to it. She's like, "Don't spill the coffee on Obama. Don't spill the coffee on Obama."
Dude, full on his lap, like hot coffee. Homie, like, president just jumps up, and then obviously security's like on top of her. She's screaming, crying, and it felt like an attorney. It felt like an attorney, but within seconds, he's like, "Everyone, calm down. I have more suits." And it was just like so cool. He could have been an ass about
for
it.
sure.
He could have been like,
and no one would have been surprised.
No.
Yeah.
And instead he just was like, "It's chill." And she was a mess, like just crying hysterically. And he was like trying to calm her down. He walked out, changed suits, and came back out and kept eating breakfast. So, and to be a part of that moment was cool. Cause when I'm around people, they're turned down because they're eating. They're just like having their personal moment.
Yep.
So you get to really see what people are about when no one's watching, there's no cameras on them. Most of the time, my clients are vacationing, and so it's like they're either with their family or people they really love, and so I get to see people in their realest moments,
most authentic self.
Yeah.
So cool. And now one part I hate to rush past it, and I love all of that. I think that helps a lot of people in a specific position. One thing just for fun that I'm just dying to kind of hear about, like
as in depth as you care to share stories about certain people there, like your ice hike that you did. Like that's all I'm gonna say, because I want to hear everything from you.
Let's
like
talk,
what
dude.
was that? How long? Like everything. Just tell us.
Let's talk, dude. Let me take you guys back to like the literal inception, the conception, we'll call it, of my journey to spend 9 days with some incredible people at Wim Hof's house in Poland. Okay, so that's where we're going. Let me tell you how
that's
it started.
The trailer. That's the trailer.
That's the trailer.
There you go.
So, I'm taking you back really far because I think it's going to add to the story.
Yeah.
Me and my wife were living in Atlanta, Georgia at the time, where our business is headquartered. She's listening to a podcast, and Lewis Howes was a guest. He has a big podcast. A lot of people know him for his massive podcast. It's amazing. He was a guest, and he started telling his story, which, by the way, my wife made me listen to the podcast because she's like, Mitch, your story, what you just went through in your life, all the craziness, NFL mom, she's like, you got to listen to this because it's crazy how similar you two are. And I was so excited to listen to this podcast because I was like, I've never met someone that's gone through what I've gone through. So I got to hear this, see how his perspective.
Yeah.
And I'm talking the similarities from pro sports to losing a parent to injury being the final thing to the specific body part that he injured on the specific leg that put him out of pro football, to his desires in life, to the vibe that he gave off. I'm like, this is my dog right here.
Like, this is my guy.
This is my guy. And there's like 20 other similarities that were like bonkers. So because I didn't and typically don't get embarrassed, I DM'd him on the spot. He's got like 1 million followers plus. I DM'd him on the spot. I was so eager to meet this guy because it was going to be a breath of fresh air to meet someone who had gone through exactly what I went through and capitalize on some really positive things that he's doing in his life. I DM'd him and told him my story, knowing that he'd gravitate towards that.
Yeah.
And that's, by the way, my first lesson is that's how you authentically network, is by finding people who are just like you, because you actually need each other.
Yeah.
And I sent him a DM. He didn't respond. Reddit didn't respond. Sent him another DM. He read it, didn't respond. I think it was like 2 times. Then I sent him a DM again saying, look, Lewis, we are so alike in so many ways. It'd be a shame if we didn't meet up. There's no 2 people that have gone through so much in their life and be so similar. We got to meet up. I'm going to be in California, which I wasn't going to be in California. I'm going to be in California next week, which that's where I knew he lived. We should get together and throw the football around because he played football. He DM'd back. He said, LOL, thanks for being persistent. Let's do it for sure. So I go meet up with Lewis Howes in California. I wasn't in California, but I drove down there and meet up with him.
From Atlanta?
No, I was in Utah at the time.
Oh, okay,
so
good.
I was like, whatever.
Get a
trip.
flight, bro. Okay.
It was like a 12-hour drive. But
good deal.
The 30 minutes that he gave me, he's like, yeah, I only have 30 minutes. Let's just, get together. We'll throw the ball around. We'll get a little workout in. Sure. The 30 minutes he gave me turned into 4 hours because we really hit it off on a deep level, as you can imagine.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And my wife asked a really good question. She goes, who have been your favorite guests on your podcast? And he said, number 1 is Kobe Bryant, which was cool because at the time he was still alive. And he goes, number 2 is this crazy guy named Wim Hof. You can barely understand what he's saying on my podcast, but he is spectacular. Well, who's this Wim Hof guy? Wim Hof's this is Lewis speaking. Wim Hof's the Iceman. He's broken like 15 world records, all dealing with freezing cold temperatures. He submerged his body for 2.5 hours in freezing cold water, and his core body temperature didn't change.
Yeah.
He hiked a half marathon around the base of Mount Everest barefoot and healed himself from frostbite. Now, all these other crazy things, he goes, Lewis says, that's probably my second favorite. And he goes, as a matter of fact, I'm actually going to his house with some buddies of mine in about 4 months from now. And he didn't say another word because I cut him off. And I said, I'm going. I said, I'm in.
He's like, who is this dude?
I'm in. I said, I'm in. And he goes, you're in. I said, I'm in. I'm going. He goes, all right, let's go. You're in. Because we connected, because he really liked me. And I think he saw something in me as like the 10-year younger version of himself. I think that's why he invited me.
Absolutely.
I had no idea who his Iceman guy was. I had no idea who his friends were. And about a month before, he's like, hey man, we're still going to Poland next month. You still in? I said, of course I'm still in. He goes, here's a list of people that are going. And I started looking up some of the people. Half of them I didn't even know. I didn't even know who Mike Posner at the time.
Yeah.
Mike Posner was going, Aubrey Marcus, Steve Weatherford, Jesse Itzler, Humble the Poet, like some really rad characters that are all from different walks of life.
Amazing. That's amazing.
And then me.
I love it. Because I won't lie, not to cut you off, like in seeing that, because I saw that on social media, because I'm a big Wim Hof fan, I'm a big Jesse Itzler fan, and a Mike Posner fan. So like, I saw that you went, and in my mind, I was like, and even when you would post, I think it was from the past when you had gone, I was like, how did this dude end up out there? No, like in no type of offensive way at all, but like I've always wondered what the freaking connection was. And that's amazing. I love it. Like, you created it.
I wondered that too.
You
myself.
created it.
I was like, why am I here with these guys that are so, much further ahead? And we all connected really well, but we planned this trip to Poland. There is 17 of us. 17 people. There's a couple chefs. There's Wim, there's his son, and then we call them the 13 Icemen. That was all the boys that went. So there's 17 people in one house with one bathroom in the middle of Poland in January with like no heating except a massive fireplace that's like totally not to code. There's a fire billowing out, like no smoke alarms. And the coolest part about that was it stripped everybody there of any pride, because you're not at the Ritz-Carlton.
Yeah.
You're at Wim Hof's house.
Yeah.
You're on a cot or you're sleeping on the floor.
Yeah.
You're eating food you've never eaten before. And so everyone there, especially because no one knew what we were going to do, everyone's a little bit nervous. Like, yo, this guy's broken world records in the freezing cold temps. We're locked at his house for 9 days. We don't know anyone, nor do we speak this language.
Yeah.
So like, it's about to go down. So it really stripped everyone down to the bare bones of, we all have to just be our authentic self, because you're not here, you might be a billionaire, but right now you're not. Yeah. You've never done this stuff. You know what I'm saying? You might be a famous artist, but right now you're not, because you've never done this stuff.
Yeah.
And this whole thing was Wim Hof asking Lewis House to bring his most influential friends to Poland to experience this so that they can go back to the States and spread it. Mm. And so we go and do all these Wim Hof things. So day one, we did a 10-minute ice bath up to our neck in his backyard. He has an ice bath made. We'd chip ice. It's January in Poland. We're chipping through a couple inches of ice to get in this thing. And I did cold baths to my waist because of football. It was just, it was what you did for recovery. But up to the neck is a different story. Above your heart is a different story. And for 10 minutes. Yeah. And you had guys that never even had taken a cold shower before. Yeah. So that was the first accomplishment. Mm-hmm. And once again, we're all stripped down to the nothingness that we were in that moment because no one had ever done this. Immediately after, he takes us down on a hike to this waterfall, and the water's like 5 feet deep. And Wim Hof's 61 years old, and he tells us we're going to jump in this water that's 5 feet deep. And he hikes up there. He literally grabs his nuts and he jumps off and yells something. Shut up. And you're like, if this 61-year-old man is doing this so confidently, I'm going to do it too. So within 24 hours, I'd done two things I'd never done before. And you're starting to like, whether it's real or not, whether it's placebo or not, you're starting to feel like this superhuman feeling of like, oh my gosh, like I'm learning something. I'm doing what this guy's doing. He's done superhuman things. Maybe I could be like him. And then there was other hikes, every body of water, you're stripping down, you're getting in this freaking thing and just freezing cold. One of the coolest things we did though, and this is sort of the basis of what he does, is the breath work. It's 3 rounds of 30 deep inhales and exhales with a breath hold in between all 3 rounds. Mm-hmm. And Wim has held his breath for, I think, 7 minutes, I think. Yeah. He's like, guys, within 3 days, I'm going to get you all to hold your breath for 3 minutes. And if we're all sitting here right now, we can hold it for, what, 30, 45? Yeah, if. And so with this breath work and this breath hold, it's another thing that helps you tap into your superhuman potential. Because once again, I did another thing. I held my breath for over 3 minutes on the 3rd day, like you said. And I'm like, wait, I might be superhuman. Like, oh my gosh. And it was every single day we're doing something like this. And the crowning jewel of this whole entire event was a 4-hour, practically naked hike on Mount Snezka. It was negative 20 degrees. Shorts only, no shirt, 4-hour hike. On the hike, everyone that we passed, didn't have not even like a nose sticking out in that cold. Like it was goggles. It was these parkas, right? That these guys, people are wearing to just like, be up in these mountains.
To get up there.
And then there's 13 half naked dudes marching up the hill.
Oh my gosh.
It was -20 with the wind chill. Kid you not. And at the beginning, it was you're so hyped up on adrenaline that it was okay. It was freezing cold, but it was okay.
Yeah.
You get, a mile from the top, and you're like, you know what? I feel so good about myself. It's okay if I die, because I might. There's a chance I might.
You're like,
but we get to the top. We get to the top, and we're able to dress up and march back down. And once again, we tapped into that superhuman. We're able to unpeel this new person in us, because we started back at the base. We don't know nothing about this, and we're learning, and we're malleable, and we had a guru that we were able to learn from for 9 days and really tap into the best version of ourselves. And we're doing these breathing techniques. You're high as a kite on oxygen, like your own supply.
Yeah.
And I remember feeling so amazing about myself after just breathing properly for 10 minutes. I remember all my worries went away. The fears, like the sadness for my mom. And I'm like, wait, I can heal myself if I need to. If there's ever crisis, I got myself.
Yep.
And that's what we learned. And the coolest part about it is that stuff is so real.
Yeah.
That a lot of us have gone to do a lot for his brand, Wim Hof's brand. Like Mike Posner is now a Wim Hof certified instructor. And that's like 90% of what he does. You know what I mean?
Amazing, dude.
I'm doing so much more. I'm like a huge cold bath advocate. I'm doing a snow hike next month. Same agenda. Shirts not allowed, shorts only. I'm taking a bunch of people. You guys are going.
We're there.
You're there.
I'll pay to see Zach in some shorts hiking up a mountain.
It's gonna be insane. The best thing you've ever done. Every person I've taken to do it it's been amazing. And so because we were stripped down to the bare bones of who we are and then experienced some really cool stuff, all of us are really close still. I can call any of those guys, they pick up the phone.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
guys
1,000%.
Guys are started businesses together. Guys are collaborating together, and it was powerful, man. And so I've been on that reset me. I started to see myself before that. That was 3 years ago from this month. I started to see myself get a little bit selfish because I was so scarred from those pains, football, my mom. I started to see myself get a little bit more selfish. The second I got selfish, I gave off a different vibe.
Yep. I
started learning the self-healing process.
Yep.
And my vibes are better.
Yeah.
I'm more infectious.
Yeah. And
that's when I'm my best, is when I can give off my best.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. As always, it was a blast for me. I hope you got something out of this. If you got something out of this video of value, share this with a friend, and please go show your love. We're on all streaming platforms, including YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. Any ratings, comments, likes, shares, they go a very long way, and they make it so I can keep doing these things for you, and I would appreciate it greatly. So please go share with a friend. Until next time.